Hello, I'm Wayne,
I'm Macy.
and we both volunteer on the Moors Valley Railway. I started last year on the 13th of April after going to the World Book Day events at the railway. I got talking to some gentleman, I think his name was Dave, I'm not too sure. If you come, get to know me, you know names and faces I'm terrible with. It encouraged me to get in contact with the railway to start volunteering, and here I am a year later.
I started on the 18th of May last year. I followed Dad down, and before I wanted to get involved in other railways, but I found that the Moors Valley engines were like smaller and they weren't as intimidating as the bigger locos at other railways.
Right. I was involved in another railway, the Romney Highland Dimchurch Railway in Kent on the south coast. Was there for many years from volunteer in 2000. I became a full-time member of staff in 2002, where I had 7 seasons of being a regular driver on Black Prince and Hercules. Did various other roles, firelighting, signal boxes, travelling guards in the winter. I did P-way work, carriage and wagon. Also did driver experiences where I met Andrew, Stuart and James from the Moors Valley Railway.
I was involved at the Swanage Railway for Santa Specials for only 1 year, and that was before Moors Valley.
When I started last year, I was an engine cleaner, which is quite self-explanatory really. You clean the engines, but then there's other things like clearing out the ash pits and doing other jobs in and around the engine shed that needed doing. From then I progressed up to starting to prep the locos for the service, i.e. like lighting the fires, disposing of the old fires, refilling the boilers with water, and basically just getting ready for the driver for that day.
I started with the engine cleaning and emptying out ash pits and whatever needed to be done at the time. And then as time progressed, I started fire lighting the engines up before they went out for the day and filling them up with coal and everything. And then after that I started doing shadow guarding, where I clip the tickets from the passengers and do the shunts and everything.
Right. My favourite MVR Moors Valley engine and why? I have 2 at the moment. My favourite is Thor. Just reminds me of my regular engine back at New Romney is Black Prince, which was black and red, just like Thor. I love the way he's got a nice big tender cab and just looks a real nice, powerful engine. But my favourite engine I've driven is Pioneer. Although I've driven some of the other newer engines like Aurora, I've got a bit of a soft spot for. Took a long time to get used to her, especially the way she behaves on the run. But once I've got used to her, we've had some real cracking days on her.
My favourite engine at Moors Valley has to be Tinkerbell, because she was the first engine I lit the fire in and have actually driven there. And she's just a nice small engine to be on.
Right, our favourite event of the Moors Valley Railway is the same. We both like the summer gala. You get all the engines out. We've got freight trains and passenger trains doing various different routes that are not normally on a normal service day. We also get loads of the little traction engines that come along. And then in the evening, the visiting exhibitors and the railway staff have a bit of a party is probably the wrong thing, but it's like a party atmosphere. We have a little get together and the trains run late into the night, and you get some real good atmospheric shots as well. As the atmosphere gets cooler, the smoke hangs in the air, and some good lighting.
Yeah, you get a mix of traction engines there, and all the Moors Valley engines are out, and it's just like a really good atmosphere to be there really, and it's really good.
Right, favourite memory of volunteering at the Moors Valley Railway. Mine was the 5th of October last year. I got passed out as a steam driver. Wasn't expecting to get passed out quite so quick as I had. In fact, I only really thought I'd be learning to drive this year. But I've enjoyed every day since and looking forward to many days in the future.
My favourite memory has to be when I drove Tinkerbell for the first time, because, well, really it was my first ever engine I've driven in my life, and it was just a really good and exciting thing to do. So that's my favourite memory.
Right, and favourite other railways other than the Moors Valley Railway. I'm from Kent originally, so I have a bit of a fondness to some of the railways in and around Kent, especially the Romney Highland Dymchurch Railway, Kent and East Sussex, Bluebell Railway, Redgar and Worms Hill, which is a privately owned railway. But then I also like a lot of the narrow gauge railways in North Wales, Festiniog, Welsh Highlands, Taferlin, railways like that. And other 15-inch gauge loco railways I like is also the Moors Valley Railway in Norfolk and the Ravenglass Railway.
My favourite railways are Redgar up in Kent, and I also like Romney Highland Dymchurch Railway because that's where I grew up mainly. So I've kind of got a soft spot for that, and I don't think there is any other railways, to be honest, apart from Moors Valley I can think of.
Right, another reason why my Macy comes along with me, she's only 13 when she started, but unlike other railways which have been shadowed a lot, as long as they're supervised by a parent, me, she can more or less do all but everything as long as she's with someone competent to do that role. So if you are a little young and thinking you can't do nothing, please come along and get involved. Isn't that right, Macy?
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah. Right, hopefully this will give you a bit of insight of what we do, and maybe one day see you on the Moors Valley Railway. Goodbye.